Thank you, 𝘂𝗏𝗹𝗶, for introducing me. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank 𝘂𝗶𝗹𝗹 for inviting me to be a host for this event. And today we're going to talk about client satisfaction, starting from knowing your ideal client, ending with making your process smooth and enjoyable for both sides to ensure only 100% client satisfaction. Thank you guys to be present here. I really appreciate you being here. And I want to say if you have questions, please write in the chat and we will try to cover all of your questions in the end. Also, if you have any thoughts and ideas that you want to share for us to discuss, or maybe there are other related topics that you would like to have the opportunity to participate as a participant in to have this kind of event. So please put there your thoughts and your suggestions around the topics. And I'm starting to share my screen and I will open the presentation. 𝘂𝗏𝗏, can you see the presentation? All right. Hope you
Yes.
guys see it as well. So let's start. So today we're going to talk about mastering client satisfaction and why I decided to talk about this topic because it feels like everybody else is talking about the sales, everything related to sales, the bidding, the sales calls, etc. So lots of talk about it. And what I'm saying is not that I do not like sales. Yes, they bring valuable leads, they bring clients. But what I see is that there is less concentration, less focus on client satisfaction. That is why I decided to talk about this topic today. And today I want to share with you the practical knowledge I gained as a freelancer, as a profile manager, and as an Upwork consultant who talks to many freelancers about their experience on Upwork and helps to improve them. So you probably heard this old saying that says, happy clients lead to repeat work, positive reviews, and long-term success. I want to add to this. Only happy clients bring you constant visibility and sustainable business because everything else can change on the platform. And we're speaking about Upwork. And as you know, they are making like too many changes lately, trying and testing and changing again. So what I'm saying is there is one absolute factor that is not going to change, and it can be relatable to any other freelance platform, and it is client satisfaction. And there is one absolute number related to client satisfaction, and it needs to be 100%. All of the other things that, let's say, a client like to ask, what is the perfect reply rate? What is the perfect bidding strategy? What works today may change tomorrow, and there is no other absolute thing and no other absolute rate. So why there is no other absolute things when building a sustainable business on Upwork? First, these constant updates and experiments they're doing on Upwork. And let's say 5 years ago, 4 years ago, it was like more smooth and calm on this platform, but lately they started change many things and they're trying, they're testing, changing again, and what works today may not work tomorrow. Second, the personalized and dynamic matching. So the freelancers are fighting for the visibility constantly. And if you have a freelancer account and also a client account, you can check that for a certain specific keyword, you can see different results with these two accounts. Why? Because there is this personalized and dynamic matching, and you may never know what your client sees according to their preferences. What preferences? The profiles they are checking and their hiring history. For example, if the client hired freelancers with really high job success score, or at least top rated badge with high earnings, etc., the results they're going to see accordingly. Or maybe they prefer freelancers that provide consultations. So regarding this, freelancers really like working hard on their visibility and then trying search. But in the end, you may never know what kind of results your client sees. And third, the hidden formula of the algorithm. Even though many of us are testing and over time we're starting to see the pattern on what is working, but there is always going to be this hidden part of the algorithm that is not going to be disclosed. Maybe because when we disclose everything, they're going to change it so that the freelancers could not manipulate the algorithm. So, how do you make sure that you always have 100% client satisfaction, which is reflected on your JSS, by the way? I suggest these 4 things you do, and there are practical exercises we'll do together so that we could start changing your processes today to ensure 100% client satisfaction. So it starts with knowing your ideal client. And you may have questions regarding the number of ideal clients available on the platform. We'll talk about this in detail later. Once you know your client, you make your profile 100% match to your ideal client. And once your profile is matched and you have this lead coming to your profile, you need to work on setting clear client expectations, because in the end, the client satisfaction will be according to the matching of their expectations with the final outcome, because you may deliver really high quality result and maybe you're an expert in your field, but if something does not match the client expectations, they're not going to be 100% satisfied. And then when you worked on the expectations, you need to make sure that process is smooth and enjoyable before starting or after starting the contract. So let's uncover all of this. And I think all these 4 are very huge topics, but I try to put together things to have this comprehensive look at client satisfaction. So let's uncover one by one. Knowing your ideal client. And the question about if I should narrow down my audience, my target audience, to find only my ideal client or only work with them. So imagine this situation when you are stating your prices and the person you're talking to says, great, that's a great deal. Let's start working together. It'll be nice, right? This is something you are going to hear all the time when talking to your ideal client. Believe it or not, this is true. So how do you know your ideal client? There are 4 things I'm looking for potential clients to understand if they're an ideal one for me. They need you. Well, you may say everybody needs my services. Why should I think about this? Well, maybe yes, maybe everybody needs your services, but maybe not, because the part 2 is they know they need you. They need you and they know they need you. So how do you know this? When reading the job descriptions, it sounds like this job is 100% match to your skills, your expertise, and the services you want to provide on this platform. Because the job can sound like a match to your background, but this is something you do not want to provide as a service on this platform. You are reading about the client's core need or problem, and you are sure you can solve their problem. Or you are reading about the process requirement, and it feels like the client is describing your process actually. Or you're checking the skill requirements and the skill tags, and they're so matching to you that you feel like, oh, this job is really about me. And the tone of client, you also like the tone of client and their approach of putting together this job description. This is about the jobs. And the second part is about the invitations and direct messages you receive. Mostly, these are your ideal clients. And if this sounds obvious to you, I will tell you this. I'm also a client on Upwork. And what I see is that when I post a job and I invite people to have a look at my job, they are very brief to answer my invitation. And my feeling is they didn't put much time and effort to convince me why I should work with them, right? So this may sound obvious, but people do not put time to not let their potential ideal clients go. So what I'm saying is, whenever you have an invitation or a direct message, think about it. This can be your ideal client. You need to do everything to not let them go. Third, they can pay you. It might be a stretch, but they can pay you. And I'm sure maybe all of you had this conversation with a client saying, I really like your approach. I really want to work with you, but I'm really short right now on budget. Can you make a 60% discount for me so that we could work together? When it is your ideal client, they can take money from something else they're doing to pay you, but they can pay you. They will find the budget. And I had these cases when a potential client says to me, I really don't have the budget right now. And they actually came back to me after 2 months, 3 months when they had the budget. So they're really willing to pay you the money you stated, the price you stated. And last, and this is the most important thing for me, they share your value system. Maybe not your entire value system, but the important stuff. And it can be like professional communication, the work ethic, maybe life-work balance. Something valuable for you that because of this, you will feel respected as a person and as an expert. And this is my thinking is that this is the most important part. And in the end, I want to share with you some common features of ideal clients on Upwork that I extracted from my own experience and to the thoughts that my clients shared with me. So this is something typical to any great client on Upwork. First, they value your time. They respect you as a human. They understand that maybe you're working from home and you may have family emergencies and you cannot be there for 24/7. So they're not wasting your time, and they respect your time. They're willing to bring the necessary input. You don't have to put much time and effort into convincing them to bring an input like their, let's say, necessary information to start a project, their feedback, or any other kind of input. They ask meaningful questions about the process. And I want to put emphasis on the word process. Why? Because many people ask about the results and the guarantees, and feels like people are too concentrated on these things. Of course, we do understand everyone hires a freelancer for certain results. But let's be honest, anyone can create a portfolio, and very often this portfolio is fake. But even if you have real portfolio with real success stories and you have great results with numbers, in the end, every case is different. Every client is different. So great clients understand that the results are not going to be 100% dependent on the freelancer. So they start asking questions about the process so they could evaluate your level of expertise so that they could see how you are going to get those desired results. They are able to trust people. Well, maybe because they are able to choose people. So they don't need to micromanage. They don't need to ask thousands of questions about what you are working right now. They're just able to trust you and your expertise. And last but not least, they have a great client history on Upwork. So when it comes to clients, I would say the client rating needs to be not less than 4.5 stars because the freelancers tend to give a higher rating to clients than the clients do. So pay attention to the rating, pay attention to the past reviews of other freelancers who work with this client, and you'll definitely see if this is your ideal client or not. So here's the to-dos you can do today to start knowing your client. So what you need to do is gathering ideal jobs, and these jobs need to be 100% matched, and they need to be very descriptive so that you could extract values from the job post. Descriptive about what? About the client's core need or problem, about the specialty, about the required skills, and about the process. It is very important that the job is a match to your skills and the services, and also it is descriptive. Second, when you are analyzing, I would suggest more than 10 jobs, you'll start seeing the pattern. The pattern of what? What is your customer looking for and what is their problem? The typical process the client describes, the demanded skills and the demanded service bundles. About the last one, let's say, for example, the client, you are providing a LinkedIn profile optimization services, and you start noticing that people who are looking for this service also require a resume update. And if you see this as a pattern, you really need to think about this to offer as a service bundle if you can. What else? You can check your contracts, the best contracts and bad contracts. What unifies the best contracts that made you really enjoy this project and have a successful outcome in the end? And also, what were the red flags of the bad clients? And usually when there is a contract with bad outcome, with bad feedback, let's say, when the freelancers look back, they start noticing that, oh, here was a red flag and I didn't pay attention to this. So look at the best clients and the worst clients of yours. And in the end, summing up the results, you will know who is your client, their core need and problem, their main skill requirements, values for client, and process requirements. Having all of this information, you need to make your profile 100% match to your ideal client. How? How to make it 100% match? Make the first paragraph of your profile description about the client's core need or problem. Second, make the client values your unique selling points. And this is a huge topic itself. So what do we mean about saying unique selling points? These are the values that you can deliver to your client that actually differentiates you from your competition. And if you want your ideal client to know that this is you, who they want to work to, your unique selling points need to match the client values we've discovered in the knowing your client process. Describe your service and process as the client does. And maybe the client does not understand the process as you do as an expert. Yes, you are an expert in your field, and maybe you know better how to describe the process, but definitely you need to understand how the client sees the process so that you refine your description, your proposal, maybe your cold pitch according to the process that client sees. Highlight and tag the most demanded skills. And by saying highlight, I mean highlighting them in the profile description, in your portfolio, in the skill tag section on Upwork profile, in your proposal. Everything needs to be matched. Showcase only related portfolio. Why? because the more is not the better on Upwork when it comes to portfolio. Why? Because you want your ideal client come to your profile and have the feeling of this guy offers exactly what I'm looking for. Not just, oh, okay, this guy offers something like that. Or also, this guy offers this, and something like what I'm looking for. They need to have the feeling this guy offers exactly what I'm looking for. You'd better have 3 to 5 portfolio items really related to your client's search, then have, let's say, 20 portfolio items with like many different things that are not related, that they're never going to be, explored because it's too many actually, and no one has that time to check this many details on your profile. And then I think a week before, I was working with a Webflow developer on identifying his unique selling points, and we were analyzing this job post together, and I really liked it as a great descriptive job that has many values in it. And today I wanted to do this exercise with you so that you go and check your ideal job post like this. So the important information is in the rectangles already, so that we could save time on this. When checking the description and the title, when the title says who they are looking for, and this is about the client, and the first sentence is also about the client. So they are a health tech startup that do AI-driven B2B solution, and they're looking for a talented Webflow developer to bring their vision to life with a dynamic, responsive, and visually stunning website. And when we go to the what you'll do section, we see very valuable information here that describes what is important for the client. And pay attention, the end of the sentence is more important than the beginning, and you will see why. So they're saying develop a responsive, visually appealing Webflow website. So what kind of website? Not just any website. A website that effectively communicates their mission and services. So this is the client's problem. And if you can solve this problem efficiently, you have an advantage here. So they want someone work closely with their team to do what? To translate design concepts into functional website features. So they have these design concepts, and they need you to work with their team to translate them into functional website features. And then they're speaking about SEO optimization. And remember, we're talking about a Webflow developer, but the client says that they need a website that is optimized for speed, usability, and SEO. So let's assume this is a typical job for my client's for my client, and let's say this is an ideal client. And this is a pattern that this kind of client is looking for someone that also can deliver a website that is optimized for speed, usability, and SEO. So this is something related, not about development, but something related, and it's a value for the client. So if they meet a Webflow developer with a certain expertise that also knows this SEO optimization and knows how to implement technical SEO, then there is an advantage in this developer. And then they say implement changes quickly and efficiently based on feedback. And then we read about the timeline. We're aiming to launch in the next 2 weeks, so we need someone who thrives on the tight deadlines. So fast turnaround is very important for this client. And if you pay attention, they mentioned this idea in several times. So they're saying implement changes quickly, effectively, and they're saying we need someone who thrives on the tight deadlines. And as we continue reading, I like this part, who we are looking for. So they're saying general things, and when we look at the end of the sentences, there is the value important for the client. So they're saying proven Webflow expertise. But it is important for the client the expertise in B2B tech or AI-related industries. They say startup experience, but why do they need this experience? Not just for anything. They need someone, when we look at the end of the sentence, it said understand the fast-paced environment. Agile and efficient, for what? For being comfortable with feedback and can iterate fast. And a strong communicator, quick to respond, proactive in updates, easy to collaborate with remotely. So why I'm putting so much emphasis on the end of the sentences? Because many clients are quite general when writing a profile description, a job description, but you need to understand between the lines. And this kind of descriptive jobs really can give you some, valuable sentences on how to pitch yourself, how to write your proposal. So instead of saying, I have proven Webflow expertise, you need to say that you need to speak about the field. Or instead of saying, I have startup experience, you need to say, I understand the fast-paced environment. So instead of speaking about general things, speaking about big things, you need to narrow down for your ideal client. And I want to read several examples of how can you make a unique selling point out of client description. Expertise in working with startups. You may say as a USP in your proposal or profile description, with my proven expertise in growth stage startups, I am able to understand the fast-paced environment. So actually you're talking about something that is really important for the client. Comfortable working on the tight deadlines and delivering within the timeline. So you say, I'm quick to respond, proactive in updates, and easy to collaborate with remotely, so your project stays on track. So instead of saying, I'm comfortable working on the tight deadlines, you explain how you're comfortable. How is that? Agile and efficient. So what is important in being agile and efficient for such kind of project? I welcome your feedback and iterate fast, so I deliver quickly without compromising the quality. And familiarity with technical SEO best practices. I'm sure your website is optimized for speed, usability, and SEO. So you can do this exercise with your ideal job post. And as you start working like this, as you start analyzing jobs like this, maybe you can have a list of let's say 10 USPs at your hand. And it will be easier for you to build your pitch according to client job post when you have already list of unique selling points. And you need to choose 3 or 4 unique selling points for your profile description. So once we know our client and we build a profile to be 100% match to our client, it's time to work on client expectations. When there is a lead, when a potential client comes to our profile, a reply, an invitation, or direct message, we start working on client expectations. So how to set clear client expectations? The classics: scope, time, deliverables. What are you going to work on? This is the scope. Time, when are you going to deliver the milestones and the final delivery, and the deliverables, the actual outcome of the contract. Level of interaction during the project. Updates. How many updates are you going to make and when? And this is important to tell the client beforehand because different clients may have different expectations of updates. And if the client initiates asking about the update or follow-up, the client satisfaction may be affected because you need to make sure you initiate this conversation rather than your client. Even the number of calls. Maybe this is something like you are always comfortable with calls, and you can jump on calls whenever the client needs it. But this is not always working, and if your capability of taking calls is very low, you need to tell the client. So the response time, and this part is very important for agencies. Because they have dedicated salespeople that are working on all the sales processes, starting from the bidding and ending with the closed deal. So what differentiates salespeople is that they work on sales commissions, and sometimes the usual working hours, let's say 9 to 5, doesn't work for them. So sometimes they're very proactive during the, let's say, late hours. They can take call during the night whenever they feel they don't want this lead to go and they need to take a quick action. So what happens is that they are very responsive. So they are very quick to respond, and they're willing to take calls whenever needed. And in case of agencies, if there is already a contract started and someone else takes over, for example, an account manager, a profile manager, someone else starts talking to clients, what happens is the clients starts filling the gap. The client sees you as one person, right? Even though they know it's an agency, this is a profile associated with an agency, they still see you as one person. And before starting the contract, this person was like super responsive, super fast response, super enthusiastic. And then something changes. And then this person starts to not respond to me after 5 p.m. Again, this is about client expectations. You form the expectations during the sales process, mostly. So you really need to think about this. If your salespeople can be there for 24/7, then maybe you need to have someone working, let's say, late hours or during the hours of other time zones, so that there is no this gap and disappointment. And if you are an individual and you cannot always answer immediately, tell the client beforehand. I myself always try to, before starting the contract, I always try to tell my client that I might have some family emergencies and I cannot always answer you right away. And sometimes I try to say that I'm baby mama and I might have some very important things to do. So this doesn't mean I don't care about you. I just cannot respond right away. So this is very important, and especially for agencies. Means of communication, how you're going to send messages, the video chatting software, the task management tools need to be communicated upfront. The client input, and this is something this is a very common mistake, to not working and communicating about the client input beforehand. What most of the freelancers do, yes, they do say what will be needed from the client to start the project. But then there is some other input is needed during the project after starting the contract. And it is important to let the client know beforehand what will be needed from them, when will be needed from them, and how the client is going to make the input. Because this can be a great client, but let's say you need their feedback in 2 weeks and they do not know about it, and they're not available then, and you're stuck there, And you cannot go forward with your work because you don't have the client feedback. So the deadlines suffer, your work suffers because you don't have the client input in time. And, things happen. Sometimes people, become unresponsive. This happens. But you need to make sure you do everything to prevent this kind of thing. So communicate upfront what will be needed, when will be needed, and how the client will need to bring their input. And the results, and this is the best part and the worst part when it comes to client satisfactions, client expectations. Why? Because, again, as I said, you may have a great portfolio with real results, with real numbers, but every case is different, every client is different, every industry is different. And there are so many factors influencing the results, impacting the results. And most of the time, the results are not going to be 100% dependent on the freelancer. You can deliver quality work, you can deliver your 100% dedication to the project, but maybe there is something that the client needs to do and they actually don't do, and maybe the results are dependent on market trends, on the competition, and when you're working on the project, maybe something changes and you no longer can guarantee the results. So what comes to the results, it is a very dangerous game to play. And actually, once the clients see like real results with numbers in your portfolio, they really start talking about the results. And you need to be very careful with this. And if you still want to talk about the results and guarantees, you need to make sure you tell the client when exactly the results can be expected and under what conditions. So you need to make sure you discuss all the possible conditions that have an impact on the results, because I don't know any industry that where the result can be like 100% dependent on the freelancer. So regarding this part, what you can really guarantee is the high quality work and your 100% dedication to the project, and also communicate about the timing, when can be the results expected and under what conditions. So to-dos for today, for setting clear client expectations. And I suggest you check contracts with bad outcome. If the job post is there, read the job post and the communication before and after starting a contract. And find the gap between the client expectations and provided service. And when it comes to working on client expectations, it is always useful to check the contracts with bad outcome. And by saying bad outcome, I don't mean like awful things happened, refunds or canceled contract. No, a contract that resulted with, let's say, rating of less than 5 stars. When you have the feeling that the client, even if the client was slightly dissatisfied, go check this contract and find the gap. Fill in the gaps. Define the things to discuss before starting the contract. Things to discuss after starting the contract. Refine your profile description and refine your proposal and pitch accordingly, because you're creating expectations with all of this, with your profile description, with your proposal, with your pitch, with your portfolio. Everything needs to be refined so that there is no misunderstanding. So what I also suggest is making a template project plan for each service you provide. And this isn't necessary to be a project plan. It can be also a list. But it is important to have the scope, the milestones, the updates, and necessary client input in this, and everything needs to be in the timeline. You need to have timing for all of this. And walk the client through this plan. Tell the client to ask questions and make suggestions to make the plan more working for them. If you have this kind of template project plan, it will be easier for you during the sales process before starting the contract to make sure to discuss all the necessary things with the client. And then last but not least, making your process smooth and I would say enjoyable for both parts. And I would say no matter what service you provide, you always need to deliver smooth and enjoyable process along with the final outcome so that your client is 100% satisfied. So how to make sure the process is smooth to ensure the client is 100% satisfied? Be honest and clear in communication and do not leave space for misunderstanding. Maybe your client is someone who does not like to ask questions. Maybe sometimes people are shy and they think that if they ask questions, they may sound stupid. And trust me, this can be people that are experts in their particular field. In their sphere, they're experts. And they have less knowledge about your sphere, and sometimes they're afraid to ask questions to not sound incompetent and stupid. So it is your part to make sure that everything is clear and there is no space for misunderstanding. Now, your part, asking questions and not relying on assumptions. If you do not ask questions, sometimes you may find you in a situation where you're in the middle of the project and you understand that you're going into the wrong direction and you're not on the same page with your client. So do not hesitate asking questions. It's better to ask 2-3 more questions than rely on assumptions. Make timely updates and don't let the client ask for them or follow up. Again, according to your plan, to project plan, make the timely updates, and you need to understand when exactly the client will need updates to make your client feel safe, to know for them to know that the project goes well, and also to keep them engaged. Always keep your commitments. Yeah, this may sound obvious, but if you fail keeping your small commitments, the client satisfaction will suffer. So do not promise something you're not sure about. And keep your client engaged. By saying engage, I mean let the client participate in the project somehow in the level that is suitable for them, because some clients like super engaged and you don't have to ask for their input. They are every day they want to bring their input. But some clients are very quiet and they want to be there, just watch there, and you just need to make sure to make them to keep them engaged in the level that is suitable for them, but always they need to be engaged. And I'll tell you something, when you have contracts that have no reviews, this is a sign of a not engaged client. And on Upwork, it is very important that you have reviews on the completed contracts. So do not let your client do not let the client go without putting their review. And for this, you need to keep them engaged during the whole project. Educate the client around the process or project details when needed. So again, this can be a great knowledgeable client, but they are knowledgeable in their particular field, and they might not understand some things about your process or project details. Yeah, my advice, my recommendation is always educate your client around the process, because this helps them to stay engaged. This helps them to feel safe, to because people want to understand, and great clients want to understand what you're working on, how this is gonna work, and they want to know the project details. So you need to welcome this, and you need to educate them when needed. And maybe that is why they reached out to you to have to have the opportunity to talk to an expert and ask the questions. Ask for and act on client feedback not only when you deliver, but also throughout the whole project. And this is also a common mistake that freelancers do. They submit the work, and only then they ask for feedback. A bad thing to do, not a great thing to do. You need to make sure you have your client's feedback during the project. Because in the end, when you submitted work and it says that you're already requesting a payment, but sometimes it turns out to be you went on the wrong direction, and your client has limited time and you have limited time to make the necessary changes, because there is this limitation of 14 days once you submit the work. So make sure to ask for and act on client feedback during the whole project. Ask open-ended questions instead of saying, let me know if you have any questions. And this is again about keeping your client engaged. So ask specific and open-ended questions. Be easy to reach out for help. This may be something that you did not promise to do. This may be something out of the scope that you agreed on, but you need to be like welcoming this kind of help request. And maybe your client is searching for talent on Upwork because of this, right? They could find agencies by doing the Google search, and there are many agencies. Maybe they came here because of this, because they want to work with an individual. They want someone to take care of their needs from A to Z, and they want to know that they're talking to this real person that can help them, that can hear them. And last but not least, the request to review and follow up. The end of the process, maybe not the end. Maybe you can have conversation after closing the contract, and I do recommend keeping the conversation between your clients, between you and the client. Yeah, you need to request a review, and you need to make sure to not let your client go before they leave a review for you, because only reviews help you get the visibility, because the clients with no reviews, the contracts with no reviews are almost equal to zero when it comes to formulating your job success score and when it comes to your visibility. To-dos for today to make your process more smooth. Again, put together a plan for each project. Once you communicated about the client requirements and project specifics, have the breakdown of the process, including the updates, the feedback requests, milestones, and deliverables, and everything in the timeline. Set up a tracking system. If you don't have a tracking system, choose a software for project tracking. Create a template for each service. This will make everything more efficient. And track all of your projects. Have templates. Templates of what? Onboarding messages, update messages, milestone submission messages, feedback request messages, whatever you can put as a template it is best to do for your efficiency. And then practice flexibility. I suggest having some perks to keep the clients happy. That can be like bonuses, anything that is not included in your process and you did not promise to deliver, but you can add to your process to make your clients happy. Especially when you need the client understanding of, let's say, delayed deadlines or something. For example, okay, there is a family emergency and the deadline suffer, and you're honest and you're telling your client that there is a problem, and let's say I cannot work for 3 days, and then your client says, okay, no problem, and then you need to show appreciation for their understanding. So you need to have these ready perks to offer for them as an appreciation for their understanding. This can be, let's say, a consultation call about, let's say, where they can ask you questions that are about your particular field, about your expertise, that you did not promise as a part of the project, or any other bonuses, any other, let's say, small services that you can add to the bigger service to make them happy. Solutions for compromising the bad experience. And the bad experience sometimes happens. Sometimes, no matter what you do, there is a bad experience and the client is maybe slightly dissatisfied. So you need to have some solutions to fix them, to compromise them, and there need to be ready solutions. If you practice, thinking about the solutions, you will be flexible enough to cover all the negative feedback, all the bad experience that the client has. And in the end, I really suggest you always refine your process according to your client requirements, your client feedback. And when you practice listening to your client, especially when you are listening to a bad feedback, you really start learning many things about your process, and you really only then you start thinking about refining your process and making it more smooth. Yeah. So in the end, I want to say that make the clients love working with you, not only for the project outcome, but for you. And you also will enjoy working with your clients and working on this particular platform on Upwork. Guys, that's it for today. We can start the Q&A session. I hope you put there your questions and your thoughts. I think Korlan,
Okay.
I suggest, yeah. How do we proceed with the Q&A? Should I stop sharing?
Yeah, actually, I think you can stop sharing your screen. Thank
All
you
right.
for your presentation.
Thank you.
And I truly hope our participants found the session both insightful and beneficial. And yeah, here we have questions here in the chat, so you can answer them. Anastasia
All right.
asks here, yeah, she says, what if the number of ideal clients is not enough?
Yeah, great question, Anastasia. Thanks for this question. Yes. Regarding the number, you actually you will never know the number of your ideal clients. Why? Because you can only check the jobs available on Upwork. But there are people who come to your profile and they send you a direct message and they do not post the job. there are really many people who do not post a job, and they are trying this talent search and using this direct outreach to find the talent, to communicate with the talent, first of all. If your profile is not ready for your ideal client, you may never receive this direct message from your ideal client. And this is real with my case. For example, I can hardly see there, like, let's say 5 relevant job posts on Upwork, but there can be 5 direct messages that are super relevant. And all of these are my ideal clients. So first of all, you will never know the real demand that is there, because there are people who do not post jobs on Upwork, and they rely on talent search and this direct outreach. And second, why do you rely on one single source of leads? There are platforms, and 100% free platforms, that you can rely on to bring leads. For example, it can be LinkedIn, and I'm not speaking about like aggressive marketing or advertising or something. No, if you're an expert in your field, then you have some knowledge to share there. You have some success stories to share. You need to find something to share with your audience, with your ideal clients. And my recommendation is never relying on one platform, even though I think of Upwork as maybe the best place to find this many quality and warm leads. But again, I don't like relying on one single source of leads and clients. You can try other freelance platforms. For example, Fiverr is absolutely a free platform, and you pay only the fees when you have a purchase project. So do not rely on one particular source of leads. That is my recommendation. And start knowing your client and make your profile a match to your ideal client. And only then you will see the actual demand on your services. We can move on to the second question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second question is from Darina. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. How to deal with a bad feedback?
Yeah, bad feedback. Great question, Darina. First of all, chill and calm down. This feedback is not about you as a person. It is about your work. And as I said, you can find much more value in bad feedback than in good feedback. Because with the bad feedback, you know what you need to work on to not have this bad feedback again. Always thank the client for their feedback. Tell them that you understand maybe their concern, their frustration, and you will work on the problem right away. You need to react very quickly, you need to act very quickly, and you need to show care because after all, the client is dissatisfied and something is not matching their expectation. And this is actually normal, especially in freelance platforms. So you need to calm down. You need to thank the client for their feedback, and you need to tell them that you value their feedback, and you need to act very quickly to fix everything. Just show care and do not concentrate too much on this, because this is not about you as a person. This is about your work.
Great. That was very valuable. Thank you. Arham, okay, now 2 more questions. I think, how can I connect on LinkedIn? Kindly mention profile link.
Yes, I think I can send the link.
And also,
yes,
I would like to also mention one thing, that you can find 𝘆cie in our community, and you can ask your questions in our chats, like Upwork talks, directly to 𝘆cie if some questions are left there.
Yes,
Okay.
and on LinkedIn you can search by my name, 𝘊cie. I think I'll put my name here. And also you can search for my title, Upwork Profile Optimization Expert, Upwork Consultant. And also you can find me on Upwork with these keywords. Um, yes, it shouldn't be a hassle to find me anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, now 𝘊𝗶𝗃 is asking, is there any checklist for finding ideal client on Upwork?
A checklist. I'm not sure if Abhishek was with us from the beginning. So the checklist, I can say it again. The checklist is checking these four qualities in a client. They need you, they know they need you, and you understand this by reading the job description, which seems to be 100% matched to your skills and your expertise and the services you want to provide on Upwork. They can pay you, they are willing to pay the prices you state, and they share your value system. All these 4 points will help you to find your ideal client on Upwork.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Thank you. There are more questions are here from
Okay,
Vladimir as well. He says, thank you,
mhm.
Lisinay, for the presentation. How would you select clients who have no history or reviews on the platform? Would you start outreach to such clients?
Outreach. If we're talking about Upwork, there, as much as I know, there is no outreach option on Upwork. So you either send a proposal, and if you mean the proposals, okay. If you are saying if you need to send a proposal to this kind of client, yes. If you feel like that the job description is all about you, and you like the tone of the client, their approach on how they put together this job description, yes, reach out to them by sending a proposal. Only with their approach you can differentiate if they have no client history at all. And I myself had really great clients who were hiring for the first time. They were for the first time on Upwork. They had no client history. Even some of them had no payment method verified, and actually they turned out to be great clients. And what helped me is their approach. How do they approach people? If they know if they really know what they're looking for, if they know their problem, if they know why they reached out to me and what they need from me. And in the end, when the conversation goes, when there is a doubt if this is my ideal client, I try to send service packages that contain much detail about the services, and also they see there the pricing and the timeline. So if they're not okay with what I offer, they just do not continue the conversation. If there is a like little doubt and you're thinking you may like waste time on this client, just send the ready packages that are very detailed about your services, and they also contain the pricing and timing. This will save much time for you because not interested people will leave you the chat right away.
Okay. Here we have one comment from Arham. Kindly arrange one session on LinkedIn as well, how we can outreach clients on LinkedIn. I can say that we can arrange one more session, but we have already scheduled upcoming events on March, but we can do this, another session in April. So, and we'll be discussing it probably in the community. Okay. There is any key element for profile optimization at work?
Yes. Key elements. Okay, let's put it this way. wherever there is a title, wherever there is a space to fill in, the optimization applies. So it starts with your profile title, with your profile description, your portfolio, your employment history, other experiences. Yeah, if there is a video introduction, there is a title for video introduction. So the optimization applies for all of the profile parts. Even if you see there that something is optional, the optimization also applies to these parts. For example, in portfolio, you can see your role part and it says optional, but this is very important part to fill in with your target keywords to make sure that your profile is 100% optimized. Key elements, so basically it is all profile parts, but the most important thing I think is your work history, your related work history. So if you, for example, your profile is like 100% optimized with the keywords, with the most trendy keywords in your field, but if you don't have related work history, and if you do not open and close contracts frequently, the optimization may not help you to get the visibility you want. So the most important advice I can give you today is whenever you're starting a contract, before starting a contract, tell your client to change the job title to include your keywords. Or if you can propose a contract yourself, do it to include your target keywords, because after all, the system sees the profiles with the related work. And if your title, let's say you are targeting a keyword that is not in your work history, the optimization may not work for you. So really work on your work history. The most important keywords and one-word keywords you need to mention in your title once, in your profile description 2 to 3 times, in your portfolio titles once, in portfolio role once, portfolio descriptions twice. The first skill tag in your portfolio need to be the target, the main keyword that you target. And then the other, let's say 2-word keywords, again, they need to be in the title once and 2-3 times in profile description. In portfolio description, they can be mentioned twice. And you can leave out them in portfolio titles and portfolio role. And you can also include them in the project catalog and your employment history and other experiences. So you need to have one main keyword, and it is usually a one-word keyword that you need it to be everywhere, just everywhere. Wherever there is a space to put an information, it needs to be everywhere. And then 2-word and 3-word keywords, they can be in profile description 2-3 times and portfolio description 2-3 times. I think this was a quick recap of the profile optimization practices. Hope this was helpful. If you have any other specific questions about profile optimization, and it is a huge topic itself, you are welcome to ask in the chat. To focus on specific niche to a different tech stack. For example, if based on a CMS, can I transition it to AI or mobile app development? Okay. 𝘂𝗶𝗹𝗹, thank you for the question. I hope I pronounce your names correctly, guys. Sorry if I'm not. Okay, it depends on what you're looking for, 𝘂𝗶𝗹. If your ideal client is interested in AI or mobile app development, yes, you need to do the change. So what I suggest is checking many job posts and see what what are the job posts that you really feel comfortable with, and you need to, in the end, you need to select the services and shift to the services that you have a portfolio that can make you confident in offering your services. So if you have portfolio in AI and mobile app development, and you see there that your ideal clients looking for these services, and you are comfortable to provide the services, yes, you can transition to this direction. So everything starts from the research and finding your ideal client, and then making sure you have a real value to offer in this field, and you have a real portfolio to showcase. Has another comment, and he says, I meant their job postings. So yeah, I covered this part. You cannot check anything else. You can check the client approach, how he puts together the job post, how he sees the project, how he sees the process, and the tone of voice is very important. If you are checking like lots of jobs, you will start noticing the tone of voice of the client.
One more question from Mujib. He asks, would you suggest
Okay.
profile boosting?
Okay, guys, I will be super honest with you. I'm not the best person to talk about the paid features on Upwork because I never tried them myself with my profile. So I do not know how it works. As a client, I see this the following way. Uh, and when searching for something in Google, you see their results, right? And you see these paid results there. And most of the time, the feeling is that maybe this is not something even related to my search, and this is just an advertising. So trying to make it work organically is much better. But profile boosting, I may say, try and test and track the results. If this is something that works for you, yes, you may try it. And if I'm more for organic search, that doesn't mean that the profile boosting cannot work for someone else. Didn't try it, but I can say from the client point of view, if you say something if you see something as an advertising, you may not trust it that much. Uh, but again, this is a platform of testing and trying and tracking the results. So if you have the feeling that this can work for you, definitely go and try it. Reactions as well. This is very encouraging. Thank you for the great reactions.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Your participation means a lot. Truly. Yeah, we
Yeah,
appreciate
seems
that.
like we covered all the questions.
Okay, then. Before we wrap up things, maybe listener, would you like to finalize our today's session? Something?
Yes, sure. Guys, thank you again for participating and for your meaningful questions. I really like meaningful questions. And if you try and experiment the advice that I shared with you, that the practical knowledge, I would like to hear about your feedback. You can write in the community, or we can be connected on LinkedIn, or you can send a direct message to my Upwork profile. So I would really appreciate your feedback when you try those practices. So I'm all about, I really like staying connected and hear about the results. of the advice I give, and this is a common practice for me. Whenever I give a consultation, whenever I have a consultation call on Upwork, I try to stay connected with my client to know if they implemented the advice I gave them and what's their feedback. So I really would appreciate your feedback when you try the advice I gave you. And I guess there is one more comment. Yeah, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate your feedback and your kind words, guys. It was really enjoyable for me to be here today with you. And yeah, I think I'll say I'm waiting for your suggestions about the next topic we can cover together. And thank you, Korlan, for managing all the things together here with me. Thank you so much for this event and this opportunity.